Jalen Hurts leading the MVP race. Now, he did do really well at the end of that Bills game, but he was potentially the worst player on the field the first half of that game. Who do you have more confidence as a quarterback for just in general? Okay, which quarterback do you like better just play style wise and watching? And who do you have if you were going to start a brand new team, Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts? Which one would you decide to choose?
That's an easy one, Jalen Hurts. Why would I pick Brock Purdy? That gives me like the everything you'd want in offense. I mean, a little bit. Look, and like I said, Hurts has been like on a down year right now in terms of like I feel like it's like a little bit of everything. Like he's just inaccurate right now. Not. I mean, there's consistencies and there's like a dips, and then like what about his processing and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely would rather take him after seeing like the things he's done like the last 2 years. Like he's good, and his arrow typically points out. Even though again, it's like kind of a down year with his turnovers. But I'd just rather have him because he's just unfazed and he's got that killer thing where like Brock Purdy, we've already seen like early on. Now Purdy's sample size is still small. I'd rather like wait for like another year or so before we start mentioning with him with like Hurts, Allen, all these other top 12 quarterbacks. But yeah, it's like right now it's like
Kevin
no,
disagrees with you.
Take him. Of course, Kevin's a Niners fan, probably.
I am a 49ers fan, and it's hard, right? Because in the minimal sample size that we've seen Brock Purdy, he has been impressive. But I think if we were starting a team, like a brand new team, not with all the skill position players, I think you're right. I think I would go with Jalen Hurts. I think he gives you a little bit more ability. Do you think that Brock Purdy throws the ball more accurately than Jalen Hurts? Because obviously Jalen Hurts has the running ability
kind of
that
felt
Brock
like
Purdy
it.
doesn't have.
This year's got, but I mean, Hurts has had some handful of like incredible, like he's definitely had a lot more dimes in terms of like 10 plus yards, but yeah, Purdy has some. Purdy, I think, gives you like more like the moderate, like consistent accuracy, where Hurts just has like those really like game breaking like drives that really hurt a defense. That's again, that goes back to why his quarterback rating is like good or not as well, but forget quarterback rating. I hate that stat. That's why he plays well behind the 8 ball when he's chasing. It's like again, it's just like he can have bad moments, but he overcomes it by like leading like several like consecutive touchdown drives. It's like again, it's like back to like with Purdy when he had those back-to-back picks in those 2 games that the 49ers were on their losing streak on. It's like, well, we played game for the first 3 quarters, and it's like, yeah, but he threw them late and they were critical, and it's not like he really answered the call after those late picks. It's like again, it's like as much as Hurts to turn over the ball, you can live with that because he's pretty much making the other team pay with his legs, with his arm, and he knows how to do it. So it's like you could live with the turnovers. Are you kind of trumping that and making that not so much of a thing by overcoming it by making it like a couple more touchdowns, a few more touchdowns, So that's why it's kind of been fine on their end.
Okay. When we go to which team do you have more, or person do you have more confidence in? How about this? Which unit do you have more confidence in? The 49ers secondary or the Eagles secondary?
49ers secondary. Yeah, Eagles secondary has kind of been like, it should be better because, I mean, Darius Slay, he's not in the peak of his powers, but he's still solid, and James Bradbury is solid. But yeah, it's like we've seen like they could be had. And I think the 49ers corners are trumping them right now. I like the overall secondary of the 49ers better than theirs.
People are killing your quarterback takes in these comments right now.
Shocker.
Yikes. Someone did say really quick, just because I disagree, if Jalen Hurts is who he means, turns the ball over, the Niners win, which he will. I disagree. I think that's the issue. I think that I can see a pathway for 49ers victory, but I think the 49ers have to play like they did against the Cowboys. They have to play their best football, and they have to play all 4 quarters. And we haven't really seen them play their best football for all 4 quarters in like any game yet this year. We see it in sprouts, we see it in halves, we see it in the first quarter, and then sometimes again a little bit in the fourth quarter. But we haven't seen them consistently do it all game. I think the Eagles could turn the ball over and still win. The 49ers can't. I think the 49ers have to.
Like, I think they could, especially if we're talking multiple times. Like, maybe the Niners could survive like 1 pick from Purdy, but like, because imagine it's not just the pick. It's eventually the play calling is probably going to change after that, especially if it's close. Kyle Shanahan's going to be like, hell no, I'm not going to have you lose this game because I trust myself more than you. So run, play action, throw the wide open guy. Don't get too cute. that's pretty much why that touchdown, that Ayuk touchdown pass, why he's saying that, it's like, I don't think that was even meant to. I mean, he did say that wasn't meant to go to Ayuk, but he pretty much was trying to play the save game with him after that. It was just the fact that Purdy's just so mentally strong, which is actually funny. This is actually a game of mentally strong quarterbacks, because when Purdy throws like errant passes or like even picks, turnovers the ball, I've never once thought like he's phased. He's never been. I've never thought he's been phased ever. So that's one thing that's kind of cool. Like I think you have like probably two of the top 5 quarterbacks in terms of like not getting mentally like shaken. Like they're mentally strong, so they both can overcome those picks. It's just that Hurts is probably the better talent right now, and and I think the way it's been playing out, that the Eagles can survive a couple turnovers versus like the 49ers would be able to.
The Eagles just also seem to be like a more aggressive, not only just aggressive with their 4th down decision making, because they're going to go for it every single time and get it, but just as a unit, I feel like I don't even think it's Sirianni who does the play calls, but I think their team is a more aggressive team where Kyle Shanahan, even though he's a young coach, he kind of runs his team like an old conservative coach, trying to a little bit play not to lose, win with defense. Do you think that Kyle Shanahan will be more aggressive in this game to give his team more opportunities? Because maybe he'll feel the need to kind of keep up with Sirianni, who is going to be going for it.
If they're probably at a point where they're losing a little bit, or if like they need to feel like they need to take that kill shot, yeah. It's already going to depend. Everything's going to be situationally wise, because then also you got to remember, like, do I want to give Jake Moody this chance to kick? And like, how's the weather going to be there too? Is it going to be wet and rainy again there? So who knows?
I hope not.
Hopefully it's not, because I mean, you have one end, you had Jake Elliott of the Eagles making 59-yarders. Like, I don't even think you could trust Moody kicking the 49-yarder in that same condition.
No.
So yeah, it's going to be.
I'm nervous about Jake Moody, even if it doesn't rain. Just in a pressurized moment, have we seen him?
That's going to be a very shaken moment. This is where This is where you're going to see who's mentally strong on the 49ers end. Because again, like I said, pressure's already on your side in terms of playoff seeding, and this is the team that beat you championship game. Yada yada yada. Animosity, all this toxic stuff build up. So yeah, it's more skewed on your side than it is going to be on the Eagles.
Really quickly, I wanted to go back because I realized I asked you the question and then we didn't kind of elaborate on it. You said that the 49ers have a better secondary than the Eagles secondary this year?
Yeah, I prefer theirs secondary, yeah.
Do you think that Ward will, because Ward followed DK around in the Seahawks game and played man-to-man, do you think that that will be a strategy that he continues against A.J. Brown?
No, because I don't think that's what they did last year. I don't even know if they trailed them in the NFC title game last year. And that was like more of like a Kyle Shanahan thing, because they knew like Ward like dominated him last year in Seattle. So I kind of figured that he was going to make him shadow him in this game. And sure enough, because that Ward does well against more of like the aggressive wide receivers who aren't so necessarily quick and fast. AJ Brown is definitely more on the DK side, but I think he's faster than DK in terms of agility. Like, he's easy to get because he knows how to move. So that probably would be the better matchup. And then you get like Amber Diamador on Devontae Smith, because Devontae Smith is extremely fast. You got to be smart in your matchup games here, because any one of these corners mess up, I'm pretty sure Jalen Hurts is going to be nails. And remember the NFC Championship game, I remember it, is Jalen Hurts was not accurate for most of that game at all. Like, he was even like in games where like the couple times where like the corners were beat, like he was missing. And even then, like the coverage was so well that he needed to be like pinpoint, like accurate. And he is capable of that. That's why it's like, you better hope these corners like are on their P's and Q's and like staying in front of these guys and perfect trail technique and not giving like enough green grass in between them. Because you don't really need too much room for Hurts to nail him if it's going like past 15 to 20 yards.
Now, for the Eagles secondary, do you think that this game will be a bigger Ayuk game or a bigger Debo game? Are you imagining, because the Eagles are I think they're ranked 29th against the pass. But then you also have to consider the pass rush. I assume that Kyle Shanahan's going to try to get the ball out of Brock Purdy's hands quickly. So that kind of, in my mind, sets up for a bigger, yards after the catch type game. But then when you think about the secondary maybe being the defensive weakness for the Eagles, maybe they will want to test them downfield.